Even if you take it, if you want to open a bank account, you require to have the Aadhaar card or permanent account, or they call the unique identity number. So if we look about the corporations, the members who are going to be created, or the members who are going to create the company, they are supposed to get in one certain identifications from the government of India, that is director identification number, and some declarations from the lawyer. So you have certain procedural aspects which is majorly taken care by the secretarial assistants. That means the two people who have some money, they can approach either the company secretary or the chartered accountant or some other people who are doing, maybe lawyer, who are doing the process of incorporations. But these people and these individuals, end of the day, the important concept is that what is the capital you require, otherwise called what is the money you require. On today's world, there is an application called Spice++ application, which is available in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Because when you are reading corporate law, everyone requires to keep updates on this particular website. Because of this digital era and digital innovations, the access to the information, the access to understanding of the subject is given elaborately, or is provided in these particular public domains. So in this application, which says up to the 15 lakh rupees of the capital, you don't require to pay any fee, then you can have the companies for a specific purposes, like for example, startups, ease of doing our business. Because now the startups becoming very, very prominent in this era. So when you want to have a small startups and you have 1 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees with you, and you can start your company, then you can go for raising of the capital through the banks or through fund managers or other people. The point which I want to explain is that in the today's world, up to 15 lakh rupees of the capital, you don't require to pay any of the stamp duty as per the today's developmental laws, or as for today the applicability of the law which is provided by the ministry guidelines for ease of doing our business and for the startups. And however, these are the special classification of companies. The other example is that, coming back to the simple here only, when you talk about these people like which are having the 50,000 rupees, they can have a small private limited company by paying up the stamp duties. What is this stamp duty altogether? The stamp duty is being paid when members who are incorporating company are creating the capital which is authorized by the MOE and otherwise called as the artificial capital. So you want a particular amount of money to do a business. So you are bringing that capital into the markets. When you are bringing that capital into the market, then you are supposed to pay a stamp duty, which is prescribed under the Indian Stamp Act. Therefore, depending upon your authorized capital, you are supposed to pay some quantum of amount. Then it determines and it changes from the amount which you are bringing. Now the point here is that the capital is determined by the promoters or the members who are responsible for the incorporation of companies, depending upon the nature of their activities and depending upon the nature of their business. It is not very straightforward formula which is given to the business wise as far as company is concerned. It is given to the wisdom of the businessman. It is given to the wisdom of the promoters. It is given to the people who are incorporating the company, how much capital they want to bring and how much they can able to pay the stamp duties. Otherwise, what will happen is that if I start saying that you don't require to pay stamp duty for each and every activity, then there will be a mushroom of companies in India. when you have the mushroom of companies or the growth of companies, and it will create the havoc. So each and every transaction which has a law, or each and every transaction which is being regulated by the law, it has some implications on payment of the tax. And that tax which we are talking here is the stamp duties. And for the future updates on a particularly in the development of this incorporation of companies, kindly keep it in the mind the application based of incorporation of company and the application based what we call it as the Spice plus plus and the Spice. It is an app created by the Government of India for the creation of companies. Then there are two documents which are necessary for incorporation of company. Those are MOA and AOA. We will see those documents in the very soon in the next lectures. And these documents basically try to talk. One is about the MOA and other one is the Articles of Association. When you look about the MOA and Articles of Association, then the incorporation of company, the primary document is the Memorandum of Association. It has certain important clauses. Because when you start the company, you have to first identify importantly what should be the name of the company, where you are going to incorporate, then how much objects what you are having, then you are having with regard to the capital, then you have the liabilities. It is as simple as that. When you want to start the company, you have to identify the name. But these things we can discuss in the furtherance of the classes. I just want to introduce the subject, and as introductory lecture, I try to inform you, the people who are listening out of this lecture, because this is my, I can say, a debut attempt or a first attempt in online lectures. I will try to record as many lectures as possible. Then I will try to introduce the subject by the module wise. This I taught an interpretative or the introductory way, how the people can receive the subject on corporate law, and in particularly the nuances of law, reading of law from the text, from the legal perspectives. Because when you look at the corporate law has various dimensions. One is lawyer's perspective, other one is company secretary perspective, other one is chartered accountant perspective, other one is manager's perspectives. Now majorly I try to put it how the legal aspects are there in the subjects. Because I belong to the law field and there is a lot of depth to have an access a subject on up-to-date manner. So I thought let me use of this particular lectures series which I initiated this year, that is 2022 October. I will try to record a series of lectures. I will upload one by one. The people who have interest and the people who are really want to learn the subject in participatory approach, in the participatory way, all are welcome to listen my lectures. And here I am pausing my lecture and not stopping. So I am pause the lecture because it's not a stop means an end. So we will have the another lecture which will comes about the MOA, that is Memorandum of Association. That means what is the document which you require? That's the first document to incorporate the companies. So we will discuss in the lecture number 2, which is dedicated for the document which is required in order to incorporate a company, and what can be there in the document we will discuss in the next class. The present lecture is only aimed to understand why the company, that's what I'm just giving the brief. So why the company? Because I try to explain it has a separate legal personality and different from the natural persons. Liability from the natural person to the corporate personality. And section 3 of the Act also talks with regard to the lawful purposes. That is what the section 3. It's very important, as everybody thinks companies are created for the purposes of the profit. Yes, there is no dispute on that. However, there is something beyond that. That is, companies are created for a lawful activity. You can have corporation for charity. You can have corporation for protection of environment and the social welfare. These are now codified in that text. Then I moved on how many people are necessary, either the 2, 7 and 1. Then moving further, how much capital you require, that is the money. And I also tried to put it a Spice Plus Plus application, where in the Spice Plus Plus application you can find out sitting in one place, using of technology and the mobile apps. You try to develop this, or you try to incorporate the companies, because this is now important. The technology made, or the technology is making all of us to understand the nuances of the subject, to understand the law, because the technology driven society we are having today, because technology brought the developments, say for example, application based and technology, which we can say the digital era and the digital technology, so making us ease of doing a business, ease of access. If we say that I don't follow the technology, yes, nobody dispute on that. It is our individual discretion. However, I will not sustain in the market, because we should be techno savvy in this technological era.